Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to make in chicken adobo, or I should say a chicken adobo inspired dish. I know my Filipino friends would probably disagree with my version of the quick adobo. For those of you who are new, welcome. For those of you who are returning guests, welcome back. Lazy Kitchen is the place where in 10 minutes or under we make an all-in-one healthy recipe with little to no prep, and these days especially we're paying attention to a budget to keep it affordable. So we're going to make this recipe today. You can either use an electric cooker like my old 6-quart Instapot. You could probably also do that stovetop and then put it on simmer. These are your two options. Let's talk about the ingredients to get started. One of the things I love about this recipe is that it's very quick. I can make it with the things that I have in the freezer, and it's also very healthy and it tastes good. And these days at our home, we have very little time to cook. I'm working double shift and we got a new puppy in the middle of that who may make a guest appearance at some point. The only slight drawback about this recipe is that it does require one ingredient that can be a little bit difficult to find, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So where our protein is going to be some chicken thighs. I picked these up yesterday at one of the grocery stores. So these are, I think, 4 or 5 of them for $5.50. So you're really going to make a whole meal for a family of 4 at least with that. Try to get, as always, the best quality meat that you can get for your budget. This is antibiotic free. If I had more time, I would have had to stop by the co-op and grab some there. You could also use things like turkey legs would work as well. For our vegetables and our starches today are going to be kind of one and the same. So the ingredient that I really like, that I'm sometimes having a hard time finding, is this frozen root blend. I've seen it at a couple stores. This happens to be from Walmart. It's a little bit of a seasonal item. I found it in about half of them, but it's really a wonderful product. It has your squash, your carrots, your parsnip, and your beets, so some really healthy root starches and starchy vegetables, and a pack is about $2.70. We're going to use 2 of them. So, and here's a tip. If you are at a store and you see it, buy everything they have in stock, because it's not always available and it's a little bit seasonal and it keeps really well in the freezer. So this thing is awesome to have handy. And then the other vegetable we're gonna have is some chopped onions, a pack. We're gonna use a whole pack, be generous, and it's about $1.30. Plain onions, nothing added. Quick note here, these days we're all trying to stretch out our food budget, especially if you're feeding hungry people that need a lot of calories, like your teenagers. You could stretch out the starch and the protein by adding a can of organic beans. Chickpeas would probably be the best one. They're pretty neutral in terms of taste. As far as the condiments and flavoring, we're going to use a mix of vinegar. I'm going to use apple cider vinegar, but really you can use whatever vinegar you like if there's one that has a flavor that you like. And we're going to use either soy sauce, coconut aminos, which is the gluten-free, soy-free version, or gluten-free soy sauce, whatever you have and whatever that you can incorporate in your diet. And we're going to use a fairly generous amount. We're going to use a half a cup of each. We're going to use a little bit of garlic from your pantry. This happens to be dry garlic. If you have the crushed frozen, works great as well. Now we're going to put about a tablespoon of peppercorn, a little bit of broth, some sea salt to taste. Your broth is going to have some, so don't go crazy on the salt. And so your condiments are gonna maybe be, maybe a couple bucks of additional cost to your recipe. So I'm gonna pause for just a second to grab the timer, and I will be right back. Okay, let's start the timer. We're gonna stay under 10 minutes. There we go. First thing, let's put this on a high temperature. We're gonna saute these. And we're going to brown our onions, so I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to do that. And we're first going to put our onions. For this recipe, you don't really need to drain the frozen vegetables like we do other recipes. It's always a nice sound and a nice smell. And while these brown, which is going to take a few minutes, I'm gonna get my chicken ready to go and get my other vegetables ready to go. I really like this recipe, especially these days. That's kind of a favorite at our house. And I'm going to prepare the sauce. We have our vinegar. I think on this one, I'm going to give it. So the total between the two is going to be about a cup. And what I recommend you do, because we're going to cook this, once this is brown, we're going to set it on a slow cook for maybe like 3-4 hours. Is that we add a little bit of broth just to keep it really moist. So maybe half a cup to a cup of broth. Kind of depends how you like your dishes. If you like them a little more wet, then you add maybe a full cup of broth. Okay. And while the onions are browning here, I'm going to already add some of the spices, and so, you know, a good tablespoon of garlic. You can freelance. I know some people like to put bay leaves in there to add a little more of a savory thing. Thyme would be good. Give it about, I like things peppery, so I'm going to give a very generous tablespoon. Very good. I think we're starting to get a little more action. And so while this is going, we can probably talk a little bit about the nutritional value of this. So this meal is going to have a complete protein. It's going to be your chicken. Like I said, certainly not a bad idea to stretch out the meat by adding a can of a really good quality organic bean, like white kidney beans or chickpeas would work out well. And you know, a can these days, even of the best quality, is only going to cost about $1.50. And then you're going to have basically 4 vegetables. Starchy vegetables going to be your beets. The beets have a lot of good anti-inflammatory antioxidants. Your carrots and your parsnip are really healthy starchy vegetables. They have some very good fiber for our gut bacteria. And then the squash is going to be a healthy carbohydrate. And you know, your onions are going to give you even a little extra vegetable. So it's really from a health standpoint, you get a lot of bang for your buck. I think I'm ready to add my chicken. I really recommend you use chicken thighs. Do not use chicken breasts. The chicken thighs will start giving off the flavor of the bones and the tendons, things you really don't get from the straight breast meat. It also is, you know, it's got some important nutrients, collagen nutrients that we need for our own bones and tendons. So get those in. Let those brown a little bit. Good. Good. And it's starting to be good smelling. We had to kick the puppy outside because she gets pretty excited and wants to join in once it starts smelling like cooking meat. So it's just us right now. Good. Very good. Another advantage of this dish is once you have it cooked, it really stays good in the fridge for leftovers for like several days. Like you can really make it on a Sunday night and still be eating it by Wednesday and a Thursday, no problem. Okay, so I am going to add the root vegetables. love the color of those things. It's so beautiful. Very good. And toss them around. And now let's add the sauce. Very good. Whoops. Got some chicken legs that don't want to go down. But we'll be sealing them so everything will stay pretty moist. Awesome. Okay, so at this point, what you'll do is very simple. You grab your lid and I'm going to turn it off for a second. Whoops. I'm going to seal it. And we're going to put slow cook. And we probably only need about 4 hours. So to be on the safe side, I'm going to put 4 hours and 30 minutes so we can go to our bike ride and have some dinner when we're ready to come back. Hope you've enjoyed cooking with us. We'll see you shortly.